So mate, it's a quick turnaround, very quick turnaround, and let's talk about your last performance quickly. Being sat there ringside, I said to Will it was punch perfect. Like for me, watching as a fan, you didn't really make any moves wrong in my eyes. He clearly saw lots of improvements that can constantly be happening. But how did you feel in there? Did you feel dominant the whole time?
Yeah, no, I felt great to be fair. Like obviously, the weight was strict. I felt good, rehydrated well. We knew we was getting in Michael, and the camp we had was perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like a perfect camp, and you sort of see it. Like I was dominant on the back foot, if that makes sense. It's a weird conundrum. Do you know what I mean? When you watch it, you're like, how much? Like even for me, I'm like my front foot. Even like Barry Jones picks up on it on the commentary. They're saying like he's so dominant on the front foot, but he's on the back foot at the same time. I think that with sharpness and like punch power, all that sort of thing. For Michael, he was a bit like hesitant, and it was just something that he had to think about. Do you know what I mean? So. Like that, even when you look at it from a defensive point of view, I can count the amount of punches he landed on me on one hand. Do you know what I mean? I come out with no scratches, no marks. Even the next day, I was just achy, like just the usual. But I had no scratches, no nothing, no bruises. You know, so from that point of view, yeah, it was punch perfect. But when I sat back and I like analysed it, it was things that I weren't quite happy with. Do you know what I mean? Like there was, I went through the gears nicely. I did go through the gears really nicely, but I like to got him out of there a bit early because I was hurting him from the start, really. Do you know what I mean? And it's good that I got him out of there in the end in 5, but if I'd got him out of there in 3, when like, I caught him at the end of the second, he came out firing in 3, and I was like, I should just stepped on him and got him out of there then. But listen, there's no need to rush it either. Do you know what I mean? I had 6 rounds after that, so yeah, I was happy with the performance. It was good.
And what made it good too, whenever you made him miss, you actually land, like you'd counter. And what a lot of people don't like is like a defensive fighter that's on the back foot will make him miss, and then that's it. And it's frustrating, but you were one step ahead the whole entire time. You could see it coming. Even after every shot, you were so defensively sound that, like you said, you can count on your hand how many times you got shot.
Yeah. Like again, it's the same with any boxer. You look at something, you made him miss, but what was the actual point? Do you know what I mean? It's like the boxing is a game of inches, and the reason why it's a game of inches is because then you can counter back. If you make him miss by a mile, all right, your opponent's missed by a mile, it looks silly, but you're not gaining anything out of that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you make him miss by inches, you can gain out of something. So yeah, I was happy with that. Like every time, even if it was just a little flick jab, just to keep him offset. Do you know what I mean? Just something that it's not every shot's got to be powerful. Just a little like boom, yeah. I could have hit you hard then. Do you know what I mean? And just them shots make him think. So yeah, I was happy with it, and like everything was punch perfect. I got him out of there. My hands were hurting afterwards, but other than that, everything was all right.
And you're so active. Obviously, we're here now for another fight week. You're ready for another opponent. What do you know about this guy?
I haven't actually watched anything of him, to be fair. I will do. Like, I'll get tomorrow out of the way, then I'll sit down and study him a bit. But my coaches and Will sat down and watched him, analysed him. He's an awkward guy. Like he knows how to survive. He's never been stopped. He's never been put down. So, be the first man to do that would be a bit of a statement. But listen, we know he's awkward. He's a bit of a switch hitter. He's going to want to run. Like he's going to want to like use the whole ring. So we've got to cut the ring off. Listen, we have got a nice little game plan, and so far our game plans have been absolutely spot on. So I've got full trust in my coach, and to be honest, I don't feel the need to even have to study my opponents anymore. So I do it for my own peace of mind. But if I didn't do it, my coach has done it as well as I would do. So yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it's nice to hear that you are getting different tests on the way up. Obviously, it's great us telling everybody how big of a prospect you are, but you're slowly chipping away, trying every single style as a pro. You've done it as an amateur, and you're slowly now moulding into a man, getting ready to, at some point, start taking on those big 50-50 fights that people are going to be, spending a lot of money on.
100%. Like, you got to think, at this stage of my career, and like all the other prospects, every time you fight someone new, it's a whole other set of questions. So it's like, and after the fight and after the result, the pundits, your coaches will sit there and be like, yeah, tick, tick, tick. And the boxes you leave unticked, you've still got to answer, but it might be later on. The more boxes you tick when it comes to world title fighters, or even like your intercontinental fighters, which we're seeing with Harlem, like, the more boxes you tick, the more confidence that they have in you, and the more confidence you have in yourself, because you think, do you know what, I've seen all this before. Like, whether it was amateur boxing, whether it was pro boxing, whatever it is, you can go in there confident saying, like, I've seen everything you can offer me, I've seen it all, and I've got a counter for it. Like, this guy, I've boxed switch hitters as an amateur, because a lot of people do switch in amateurs. As a pro, it could be different. Like, we're fighting a 6-round distance, it's not a 3-round distance, so we'll see how it comes out. But listen, it's another set of questions. It's another new opponent for me. So listen, we'll just go in there and do what we can do. We get him out of there, it's lovely. If we can't, then we just get the win.
Mm-hmm. And I know obviously talking about what's next already when you've still got a fight at hand, but you and Will must have sat down and must have sort of had some kind of plan over the next year or two to really break out. Obviously, you're in a very good division domestically. At what point do you really want to say, right, let's go?
I think we're a stone throw away, to be honest. Like I was just saying, another interview over there. Like we are close to sort of really having a breakthrough fight, having one of those fights where I'm like, yeah, like I'm on the scene now. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm here just as much as the next person. Do you know what I mean? So the only thing that's against me is my age. Because once you step up, it's hard to come back down. You can't have the learning fights again. So, and I'm in a blessed position where I can have as many learning fights as I want, and it's not going to be put me in any worse position. So,
but sometimes you do see people hold off for too long.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of like they get stagnated and used to having the opponents that aren't at the level they're at.
See, this is the only thing. This is my 8th fight. It's like again back in a big card. Like the occasion's not really getting to me anymore. Like my first couple of fights, I was a bit like, nervous. Do you know what I mean? My first ring walk I did, as soon as music come on, I come out on that stage, I was like, oh my god, everyone's looking at me, I'm just going to put my head down and get to the ring. Like now, you sort of like, you soak it up, all that sort of thing. The occasion's not getting to me anymore. But in terms of boxing, you need to find the right opponent at the right time. And we're waiting for the right time at the moment. Like we are definitely ready, 100%. We're definitely ready for a nice little title, like a youth title will be perfect. It's just all about when. Like that's literally all it is.
It's nice to hear you be open as well and say like the nerves early on. Bearing in mind, last time you were the headline at Top Tier Show.
Yeah.
You were live in the zone main event on a Sunday.
Yeah.
How did it feel being a headline at that time as well? I spoke to you after briefly, but we didn't really get a long chat.
No, it's brilliant. Like obviously my first headline, sort of my hometown as well. Do you know what I mean? It was only 10 minutes down the road from where I live. Yeah, it's brilliant. Like that sort of thing. My first headline on probably one of the biggest platforms in boxing, if not the biggest platform in boxing. Like it's one of those things. Like you take it with both hands. Like them opportunities are right. That's why I always say like you got to stay in the gym ready. You know, like if obviously I had loads of weeks in camp. I was well ready for that fight, but for whatever reason, if that fight come out last minute, if I'm ready and I'm sort of near there or thereabouts in my weight, I can just go, yeah, boom, I'll have that fight, and I wouldn't be in any worse position. Do you know what I mean? So it was great. Like, and again, it's something different, it's a new experience, a new promotion. Like, I won't be fighting. Like, there'll be times when I'll go on a different promotion for Westman. Do you know what I mean? And I'll still be under the Westman banner, but I'll just be on a different show. You see it with Clay Watson at the moment. We're seeing it with Josh Kelly at the moment. Like all those different fighters, it'll happen to all of us in the end. So you've got to be ready to fight on different things. So it was just again another set of boxes ticked and passed a couple more tests. And listen, we're back on Washman again. We're back on a big card. So this will be my first sort of big fight of 2025, and we'll just keep going and keep pursuing titles.
Who's your favourite fighter?
I've got a few.
Who are they?
So in a way, to Crawford. And Lomachenko and Devontae Davis are like my main four. And then when I sit down and study, like I like John Ennis. I like what he does. He's very unique. There's loads of different things. There's loads of things that he does, and it's great for studying. Shakur Stevenson is.
Do you and Will look at all of these guys?
Yeah, all the time. So like me and Will, when me and Will were in Saudi for the 5v5, we shared the same hotel room. Like we was in we was 5 days. We was out there. Whenever we wasn't actually doing like boxing or anything like that, we were sitting down studying. Do you know what I mean? And it's not just about fights. We weren't just sitting there watching fight after fight after fight. We're watching the all accesses, how a world champion prepares in camp, what they eat in camp, how they train in camp, all that sort of thing. The people they've got around them's a big thing. Like everything that a world champion does and cements themselves in camp, we sit there and we study the whole thing. So yeah, there's loads there. Like we watch. In terms of studying, we don't have a particular fighter. We just study. We just watch it all because everyone's got their own methods. And if we can take a little bit out of them all and add it to my game, there'll be things that don't work for me. But the things that do work, we can take that to us and then tailor it to me. It will leave us in a great position. And if we can do that now. I've got another 20 years in this sport, hopefully, you know, so we'll see.
Credit to Will for all of that as well, because obviously he's like a young, hungry coach. He's got so many, he's obviously had O'Hara, he's got yourself, but he's in that position where he's growing as well at a rapid speed with you. So for you guys to grow together, you know, it's great to see, because some coaches, they wouldn't do that.
You see, some coaches, when they've been there and done it, they're like, I don't need to do that. Do you know what I mean? But in this game, you never stop learning. You could have, I know a fellow called Johnny Eames. I used to see him years and years ago when I first started boxing. He was a great coach, and people in the boxing world will know Johnny. He's been and done it all. There was days that he used to be like, I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before. He's got like 30 years experience in boxing, you know, and it's just one of those, like, that sort of thing. You never stop learning, you know. So for me and Will, we both got the same ambition. We both got the same path. We both want to go to the same place, and to bounce off of each other like that and the rate that we're doing it, it just shows that what we're doing is working, and we're doing it at such a quick pace that we don't want to be held back, but also we want people on the same wavelength as us. Like, we are moving quickly, but it's because of how much we sit and study. Like, even I'll be off after this fight. I'll have the rest of March off, no punching. I'll have my body will rest and recover. But my coach will be sending things for me to watch. Be like, watch this. I watched that. It was like, I learned a lot from this. Like, you have a watch of it, and I'll be doing the same to him.
How do you translate watching it into the ring? Do you drill it in training with him, and then if you like it and it works, you'll have a specific sparring session where you're literally trying to do that one thing? What's the way for you to really improve on all those skills that you watch?
So it's more just identifying what makes a boxer and coach great. What makes them great? Like, what makes them unique? Identifying that, and then once you've got that and you've got like sufficient evidence, be like, yeah, do you know what? That makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense as well. Then we're like, right, sweet. Let's try and let's just flip it straight away into our game. And then the week after, so like this next couple of weeks will be just experimenting loads of different things. Like, let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try this pad session. Let's try this pad work. Let's try these pads. Let's try this bag session. Like, all that sort of thing. And if we're like, I'll say to them like, oh, well, I didn't really like that. And we're like, all right, sweet, why don't do that again? We'll try something else.
Just to make it clear to everyone as well, obviously you've got your foundation already. It's not like you're just trying lots of things.
It is literally just process of elimination. Like, yeah, we can do that. And then when it comes to the big camps where the camps matter, like they matter now, but when it comes to like this, it's got to be absolutely right, absolutely spot on, everything to the T. Like, we know that we've this camp we are 100% confident in, this setup we are 100% confident in, and these people around me we're 100% confident in. So that's all we're doing, and that's why we're working so quickly, because each camp gets better and better and better, and we think this camp's been great, the next camp will be better, and you don't think that it could get any better. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? From the last one, and it just keeps getting better and better and better, and then the performances reflect, and it is all because of how much we study and what we do outside the ring. So for anyone that wants to do that, I would 100% recommend it. Like, it might not work for you, but listen, I know a lot of people that it would work for, and they're just stubborn. They don't want to do it because they think they're stuck in their ways. They just want to do it their way, which is fine. If it works for them, it works for them.
Bit off topic. I know you mentioned Tank there. Did you watch his fight on Saturday?
I did.
What do you think of that?
Listen, I'm a Tank fan, but he lost that fight, unfortunately. It's just, listen, it's rare people go undefeated. It's like, right, I mean, I told people from the start not to write off Lamont Roach. I've watched Roach for years on the way up, and him and Tank have the same sort of elevation. Every time one stepped up, the other one stepped up. It's just Lamont Roach didn't go as viral as Tank because of his knockouts and explosiveness. But in terms of competition and boxing, he was up there with Tank. Like, you saw it on Saturday night. Every time Tank had an answer, yeah. Like, if it was just working in the background. Like, everything that he did, he was a world champion at super featherweight. He only jumped up one weight. Do you know what I mean? It's not. It didn't give a lot of weight away, really. And every time Tank threw, tried to knock him out, tried the big punch, Lamont Roach had an answer every single time. And that's just being a full-time athlete, but also like the level that he's boxing at. He was up there with Tank that night. And even if he did lose, it was a win-win for Roach, because he's gained. How many fans has he gained out of that fight last night?
It's we'll now watch him fight. Everyone's now changed on Tank. Like, posting about that on Sunday, these fickle fans, and I know they're a big part of the sport and they're there to support, but it's mad how people jump ship.
Yeah, straight away.
For years, it's, Tank explosive power, he's the man, he's the best lightweight. All of a sudden, everyone's just like...
All of a sudden now, it's like, does he beat King Sean Davis? Does he beat Shakur Stevenson? Don't get me wrong, they're all great fights, but 10 months ago, he was all saying that he's the king of the lightweights. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, for a boxer in that situation, you can't win. Mm-hmm. And if I'm being honest, I don't think Tank really cares, because he's sitting on a $5 million house with probably 15 million quid in the bank, doing whatever he wants to do with his life, and he'll fight once a year because that's all he needs to fight. So for Tank, I don't think he really cares. I don't think it really matters to him.
What do you think about yourself when you're finally in the limelight and you're going to have, hundreds of thousands of people ready to have their opinions? Have you thought about that? How thick-skinned you got to be?
You have got to be thick-skinned. I mean, you've got to be thick-skinned now. There's even in the amateur game. This is why amateur boxing is so important, because everyone in amateur boxing has all got their opinion. You've got to think every fight's a 50-50 fight. There's no such thing as journeyman, no such thing as learning fight. It's like no one's record will show you how good that fighter is. I know people that have got a negative record in the amateurs, but they're European champions. And that's only because they've lost to the gold medalist 10 times. Do you know what I mean? That's literally all it is. So, and there are so many opinions and critics in amateur boxing that when you turn over to pros, these first 10 fights, when it's like your learning period, everyone blows smoke up your ass. But you see with Tank, as soon as it goes wrong, they just they just sack you off like a drop of a hat. So you have got to be thick-skinned. And when everyone's got their opinions and the pundits are like, oh, there's a few doubts of this, few doubts of that, you just got to focus on yourself and just keep doing what you and your coach are doing. As long as you're confident in yourself, them rights will be wronged. Them wrongs will be rights, and then you'll be back in.
Definitely, and it's also when fighters don't believe their own hype and they stay grounded, it doesn't affect you as much.
Yeah, 100%.
When you're really focused on all those praises all the time, I think that would really affect you a lot more. Whereas for yourself, you're still grounded. Bear in mind, you were the main event last time out. You're flying. Everyone pretty much knows on the British scene Tom Welland already. You know, you're still grounded. You're still learning. You've still got the right mindset. Which, if you take that all the way to the top, I think it's going to do you a lot of justice. Yeah,
I think you'll see like there's a lot of prospects at the moment, like worldwide, really, that they do like they believe their own hype and then they get complacent. And Abdullah Mason, don't get me wrong, Abdullah Mason doesn't believe his own hype. He's a really nice, humble kid, but he got dropped a few times in one of his previous fights. Again, he got the fella out of there. And when he sat on that ring, it was like, it was going to happen in the end. Like, I'm stepping up, I was going to get dropped. Do you know what I mean? In the end, but that's the sort of fighters that I'm in. He doesn't believe his own hype, you know. And the next fight he's fighting next, it will look so much better for that, you know. And that's only because he will take that learning experience and he'll take it back to the gym and be like, I've been dropped once now. I ain't been dropped again. Like, that's it, done now. Do you know what I mean?
And we were saying earlier about the lessons that you learn in your career. Being dropped doesn't matter. You get punched for a living.
100%.
And to know that you can get up from being dropped and win is another thing ticked off.
100%. Like, people don't go swimming and expect not to get wet. Like, it's just that they just don't. You know, you go swimming, you're going to get wet, you're going to get soaked, you know. So it's one of those things. The same with boxing. You go into a boxing ring, you're going to come out with a bloody nose, you're going to come out with a black eye, you're going to come out with hand problems, you're going to come out with rib problems, you're going to get dropped, you're going to get knocked out. All these different things that 9 times out of 10 are going to happen to us all. So you just got to forget about it happening. Get on with you. Once it happens, and then once that problem comes, you deal with it then. Do you know what I mean? So, and not believing in your own hype means you'll progress more. You'll be in the gym with the right mindset. These people that believe in their own hype, they'll go to gyms and be like, I don't really have to be here. Do you know what I mean? I'm a world champion in the making. I'm gifted. Like, it's a complete wrong mindset. And then the people that are working hard catch them up. And then their talent actually is sort of equal by the hard work. And then the person's hard work then starts to overtake talent. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's just one big conveyor belt. That's all it is. So it's a massive thing not to believe your own hype.
Definitely right. I think they're just maybe going to be getting people on. But anyway, last, can you just look into the camera and say a message to your opponent?
Quick message to my opponent. Listen, never been dropped before. You might never have been stopped before. But come Friday the 7th of March, all changes. And again, propels me into a different dimension and it propels me into a different position. So very looking forward to sharing the ring with you. It would be a pleasure, but unfortunately there's only one outcome.
Nice one, Tom. Wish you all the best, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you, Ash.